So we have all seen the demo footage so far. However, though it was mostly good, I do have a few points that I want to critique. Let's talk about it.
Whoa!
What's up guys, Canadian Guy here, and back with a brand new Crash Bandicoot 4 video. Mind the U-Haul boxes. I'm in the middle of moving. As you can see, my Funko Pop background is gone, but without further ado, let's just hop into the video. So, as you guys know, I was lucky enough to get my hands on a private press demo of Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. I absolutely loved it and feel that everyone who's going to pick this game up is in for a real treat. However, just because I think the demo is really good, it doesn't mean that it was absolutely perfect. So I wanted to make this video to go over those points and critiques and try to make the game overall feel better. So without further ado, let's dive in. Also, I want to make an announcement right away. I love the design and look of both Crash and Coco and all the characters. I personally don't have any critiques on the characters' actual designs right now. So if you came here hoping that I would rip their designs apart completely in a vicious fashion, I'm sorry, that's not happening in this video. If that was the only reason why you came here, sorry to disappoint. Now, I asked you guys this question on Facebook and Twitter as well, to see what everyone else thought about the game and what they think would improve it. So I included your thoughts in this video as well. However, I learned very quickly that the majority of us, we're all on the same page. First off, I want to hit the biggest thing to me overall, and that is the slide jump. Now, I understand different controls between games. I get the idea that each and every Crash game in the future and the past might have a bit of a different feel in comparison, especially in comparison to the original trilogy and the Insane trilogy. However, as long as it feels like an actual Crash Bandicoot game, I'm perfectly fine with it. However, the slide jump at this point in time basically, well, is almost useless. When you do the slide jump, it feels like you are completely losing all momentum in your jump. Sure, you can jump higher with the slide jump, but it doesn't feel like the jump arc is actually right. Right now, the only decent use of it is dodging underneath obstacles and getting to a higher point. The slide in itself also kind of feels a bit short, like it ends way too soon. You almost have to be touching the obstacle to kind of slide underneath it properly. It is a bit of a pain to deal with overall, so either increasing the slide distance or increasing the distance that the jump arc actually has of the slide dash, or a combination of both might help with that a lot. And there were a lot of other people that were saying the same thing as well. Next up is Aku Aku, our trusty piece of painted driftwood that can protect us from all the cosmos. I gotta ask, did he forget that this was a Crash Bandicoot title and not Crash Team Racing? See, when you get him, he swirls around you and keeps going and going and going, which is great and all. It's a nice little reference to CTR. But even Aku Aku in CTR knows when to stop. It actually ends. Aku Aku in Crash Bandicoot 4 just doesn't. He just keeps spinning like he's in the spin cycle of a washing machine. While I love the touch that it's a reference to CTR, I actually prefer what we had before, where he kind of follows you around. It made him feel more like a companion on a journey with us. Though he just floated and followed you around, it felt nice to see him, and it seemed that he was more of a friend than just an actual shield. Would it be cool if he followed Crash and once in a while he would swirl around him to give that CTR kind of feel and let everyone know that he's still a shield? Sure, but to constantly be swirling around, it's kind of distracting and takes away from the small personality and aspect that he had. What would be cool is if Aku Aku reacts just like Crash does. Imagine being chased by the Aegipus Rex and Aku Aku has the same terrified face that Crash Bandicoot has, while also constantly looking back to see how far the dinosaur is. Or if Crash is on the edge of death and Aku Aku has a concerned face. Or when you beat a boss or finish a chase, Aku Aku lets out a sigh of relief. anything to just add a little bit more character to our floating piece of driftwood. Now we are entering the less troublesome aspects of the demo, the more nitpicky and nitty-gritty stuff. Now, I like the little indicator that's below Crash when he's falling. I think that it helps my jumps and it lets me see better in terms of where I'm going to land. However, some people have been outspoken about it and strongly dislike it. And while yes, I personally still prefer it, I also can concede and say that the circle mark is a bit too prominent. Making it a little less visible might be nice. Also, some of the enemies that we've seen, like the flying prehistoric horned beetles, have the red ring around them, and well, I honestly don't like the ring around the enemies at all. It just doesn't look right to me. So, to appease everyone, I think having the rings as an option to be disabled or enabled individually between Crash and the enemies in the options menu would be great for everyone. Now, this is, like I mentioned before, a work in progress demo, so some of the rough animations and objects might just be temporary or placeholders, but there are a few things that I just want to point out for the sake of, just in case they're not placeholders. Cortex should have Uka Uka protecting him and not Aku Aku. Cortex's life boxes should also have Cortex's face on them and not, well, that blasted Bandicoot. The last detail I want to mention is, well, the snappiness of animation. Now, I'm kind of lukewarm about this, but I do tend to agree that the in-game animations feel a little too snappy. I'm perfectly okay with a snappy art style. Don't get me wrong, it really does make the game feel like it's a Looney Tunes cartoon-styled game, but I think it is just a little bit too much. The running animation from the opening of the trailer seems to actually be, well, perfect. But then when you see it in game, especially from the scene of Cortex's point of view looking down at Crash Bandicoot, you can kind of see it's just a tad bit too snappy. Adding just a few frames in between the run cycles would definitely help a bit in my opinion. Those were my critiques of what we've seen and played thus far. What do you guys think? Comment below and let me know.
A huge thank you to all those who support the channel through Patreon and being a sponsor on the channel. If you'd like to help it out, check out the links in the description below, where you can buy some CGE merch or become a Patreon. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more gaming and nostalgic content. Thank you so much everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video.